Good morning, people. How are you? I hope you are doing good. I want to make a quick video. I'll be making this drape dress. It's an off-shoulder drape dress. Even the sleeves are drape, and the buttocks is drape. Even to the hip point of the skirt is drape. There are two pieces, but you join together to make a dress. And then on the side, there is a drape also on the side. So I will just explain quickly what you need to do. You need your off-shoulder measurement, and you need your bust measurement. You need also from your armpit to armpit measurement, both back and front side. And then where your armpit ends, you have to measure from there to the back side where your armpit ends also, to get the perfect sleeve measurement, because this one is not going to, the sleeve is not going to be tight, it's going to be loose, okay, on the model's hand. It's going to drop down, so that's why you have to take that measurement so you don't end up with a tight sleeve. Then I will explain the next step. You have to measure your waist, okay, your waist circumference, and you have to measure this one. We don't have that, so you don't need to measure your nipple to nipple. You only have to calculate based on your bodies how many distance you give. Like for me, I use 5 centimeter spacing. So you will when you make your pattern, you will divide them into 5 centimeter spacing, so you can cut across and you spread them out so you can make your pattern. So when you cut your pattern and you place it on your fabric, you cut, then you can drape it later. You can just drape them to have the style you want to make. You do the same thing for the skirt part. You measure the waist from waist to hip point, how much, and then you measure the circumference. When you finish, then you use your pattern paper to cut the skirt. You add 2 centimeter or 4 centimeter for the back side of the skirt. For the front, you add 2 on the side, 2 on the side. Also, you add for the back pattern, also extra 2 on the sides for seam allowance on the side. The one on the center back of the skirt of the the one for the back pattern of the skirt, it has 3 sets of seam allowance. The middle one is for the middle back is for the zip, the side is just for the seam. And then this one, you will to get this drape part, you have to measure from your client's waist to the sole of her feet to get the measurement for this, and then you add extra allowance for stitching for the inside and also for the hemming for the bottom, okay. So you note that. And also to close the selvage ends, when you have cut out, you add extra like 2 to 3 centimeter for hemming, okay. Now let's get to business. Right here is the skirt, okay. This is the full skirt pattern. My client is tall, but she doesn't have curves. It's fine. She's still beautiful. She still have slight. She's very beautiful. Don't worry. So this is the skirt pattern, okay. What you will do, this is the front skirt pattern. You will make incision of 5 centimeter wide. You spread it out like this, okay. You spread it out, you spread it, you see. This is what you want. If you like, you can cut it all the way across, but according to the model, the drape didn't start from the end. You only started on one side to almost reaching the end, but it didn't, okay. But if you want yours to be all across, you can just continue cutting the line to the end. You see how I did the markings there? You continue to the end and spread the patterns all apart, okay. When you do this, you can pin down, or you just use a chalk to mark them out. You see, I use chalk to mark out my lines. It's not too visible. Like that, you mark them out. After marking, you can now take out your pattern and then you cut. The fabric is very dark, so you can't even see any of the markings. Anyway, you have an idea following the pattern. I will make it an easier explanation in cutting your bodice. If your bodice, for instance, is 15 centimeter long from your off chest, from here off chest to your waistline, if it's like not 15 centimeter, it's like 16 inches, for instance, what you will do, you will measure it out of above your chest line to the waistline, and then you measure your shoulder, your full shoulders. If, for instance, it's 14 centimeter, you divide it by 2, you have 7. You will put the tape here. Oh, yeah, excuse me. For instance, height is 7, this is 7. You will put it like this, because always for off shoulder 4 inches will be out. You put it like that, and you measure, and you see this will be your armhole. Okay, so it's about 3 centimeter or 3.5 inches. Sorry, it's about 3.5 inches. You put your mark in there. Okay, and then that will determine your bust line, and then you put your bust measurement in that point. You measure from here, from the side. So for instance, your bust is 40, divide by 4, you have 10, you mark it here. Okay, that's what you will do. The same principle you will apply to the waistline. Okay, this bodice, we are not going to put that, so forget about this. All you need is the drape lines. So you will give your marking. If you want them very tight, you will give your marking of maybe 3 centimeters, 5 centimeters. If you want them big drapes, you will give up to 7 centimeters. It depends on the model. Then later you are going to cut all these lines that you have marked. The 5 centimeter spacing, you will cut them all across. You cut it all across, and you spread your pattern just like we did for the skirt. You spread it, you tape it. This one you have to tape it. That's why it's always good when you cut like this, you make it in another paper, so you have the pattern you are going to work with, and then you place on your material. Then you will cut. After you cut, it will be one piece, but then you will start to drape. Okay, you will start draping. You drape. This is a paper. Sorry, I'm working alone, so it's a bit difficult. So you drape. At least you have an idea what I'm talking about. The back piece, we are not going to make any drape. It's going to be plain. The only thing we have is the seam allowance and the side allowance. Okay, and then your dart. The back piece has that, so you make your marking. This is when you will need your nipple to nipple. That will help you make your dart. Let's say it's 7, nipple to nipple is 7 inches. You divide it by 2, 3.5. If it is 8, you divide it by 2, you have 4, and you mark from this point, from the side line. Okay, not from the zip line, from the side line, and you mark, and you make 1 inch on each side, and you connect. Always let it be 1 inch above your underbust area, and then you will make your dart. Okay, then you will cut. Thank you. I will show you the next step. This is the sleeve side. The sleeve is a square piece, and it's the complete length from her arm the front armpit to the back armpit, it's 38 centimeter. I made it 36, then plus 2 for the seam allowance, it becomes 38. Okay, you make a square piece of half of that measurement, half of the 38, it will be about 19 centimeter. Okay, half of 30 is 15, half of 8 is 4, so 19 centimeter. So you put your square piece. Also, you will make your lines 5 centimeter spacing. Okay, you don't need to cut this one, you have to double it. So if you are, instead of cutting this like this on your material, you double the distance. If the length is 15 centimeter, you make it 30. The width now will be 38, it will be 38. Okay, that's it for this DIY. I'll go ahead and cut, and then I'll show you the dress.